YouTube, what's going on? Thank you for clicking on the video. Today, I'm going to be breaking down the launcher camo challenges in Black Ops 6 multiplayer, how to unlock them faster, easier, and more efficiently. And most importantly, I'm going to teach you how to hit UAVs every time with the HE1, even though it doesn't lock on. Real quick, I just want to say before we get started, a big thank you to everybody who's subscribed to the channel recently. We just hit 850 subscribers and we're on the road to 900. So if this video helps you in any way, shape, or form, please do drop a like and hit the subscribe button for more Black Ops 6 camo guides. Now, let's begin with a couple of general tips. Now, launchers are one of the biggest pains in any camo grind. They can be difficult to get kills with, they rely on enemies to call in score streaks, and they take forever to reload, amongst other things. So the ideal scenario is that you work on these passively in the background while you're working on other weapons, ideally even assault rifles or SMGs, a couple of the most mobile weapons in the game, which allow you to move about the map, gain a good position, not feel lumbered down by the weight of the launcher, and generally have a bit of fun between switching back and forth between using the launcher when you find an opportunity for kills or when there are streaks in the sky. So if you're still working through the early stages of your dark matter mastery camo grind, I'd advise throwing a launcher on the back, work on this while you're working on other guns, and they won't feel quite as painful. However, I'm sure there are plenty of you here that have already worked through the majority of weapon classes, and launchers are really the sticking point at this stage. Never fear, I'm going to show you how to take down score streaks quickly and efficiently in just a moment so you can hopefully complete your mastery camo grind. A reminder before I get into any of the specific challenges, melee kills do count towards these challenges, so don't feel like you can't run around and smack people if that's your prerogative. And if you're just a casual player of the game, you're not too fussed about when you get dark matter. You really only have to wait 2 weeks from the time I'm recording this now until November 14th, 2024, until you probably don't have to touch the launchers at all to actually unlock dark matter. Dark matter only requires 33 guns to be completed on the road to unlocking it, and when season 1 drops at mid-November, we're bound to get 2 more DLC weapons that can essentially replace these launchers. Or if you hate any of the other weapons in the pool and you're willing to wait, then you can do. In terms of where it's easiest to complete these challenges, in my experience, a lot of people will recommend that you play hardcore automatically whenever you use any launcher. However, I do think that it's easier to play core for some of these challenges. I'll go into why and which in just a moment. But in terms of the game modes, I'd recommend Domination, Hardpoint, or Kill Confirmed, purely because these are objective-based games. They run on for longer than a typical team deathmatch, face-off. Spawns are relatively consistent, so you can understand where people are around the map. And there's a lot of score for people to be had for not even getting kills, which means there's more chance of score streaks coming in, which is going to help you towards these challenges. Now, in terms of your military challenges, these require you to get 50 kills or score streak destructions on the road to unlocking the first 9 camos for both launchers. Of course, these two launchers have very different profiles and very different skills. The Sigma typically a bit weaker, however it does lock on. The HE1 more powerful, but it's free firing, meaning it's harder to take down streaks. And because of this, I'd recommend you approach this same challenge differently with each weapon. As for the Sigma, I'd recommend playing core, throwing it on your back, pulling it out whenever there's a score streak up in the air. This is purely because it can take a while for the weapon to lock on and get the shot off. And playing in core just means that if somebody comes around the corner and sees you trying to lock onto a score streak, you're actually going to have a moment to finish that shot before they're able to kill you, as opposed to hardcore where it's pretty much instant. Again, if you're playing these objective-based game modes, plenty of people are going to be calling in UAVs, counter UAVs, even the Watchdog helos, especially when we're early in the game and people are yet to change their score streaks up too much, which means there's going to be lots of opportunities for you to shoot things down and steadily tick away at this challenge. One thing of note is that UAVs take 1 shot to take down with the Sigma, counter UAVs take 2 shots. So if you're in a situation where there's other people trying to take down score streaks in the same game, or you're perhaps being spawn killed or something so you don't have long to get your shot off and there's both streaks in the air, just aim for the UAV as a priority. As for the HE1, I would recommend just chasing kills with this to get it done quickly. Of course, the HE1 does not lock onto score streaks, which makes it difficult for some of the later challenges. However, it's got much bigger splash damage than the Sigma, a bit more power, it's a little faster firing, and I think it's a touch lighter weight as well, so you can get about pretty easily with it. For this, you can either go into core or hardcore. Hardcore is going to kill people quicker, however, of course, you run the risk that you die faster. So if you're not the best player and you struggle to get your shots off, this is just as easily done in core in my opinion. That's where I got all of my kills with the HE1. Again, just on my back passively while I'm working through Diamond ARs, and I completed this and the Sigma in pretty much the same day. So it shouldn't take you too long regardless of your skill level. Now, when it comes to special challenges, we've got to get 10 direct hit kills with both launchers, and this can be a super frustrating challenge. So I'm going to give you one piece of advice. Do this in core. Now, I know people are going to jump on my back and tell me it's harder to get kills in core than it is hardcore with launchers. However, I've got 3 things to say to that. First of all, in hardcore, if you get a kill with a launcher, because you only have 22 health points in that mode, there's a very good chance you've got that kill from splash damage, which is where you hit a wall, ceiling, a general area around someone, and that explosive ricochet damage is what's killed people rather than the direct impact of the rocket. When you're working through this challenge and getting these kills, it's going to lead you to think you making more progress than you are because you aren't actually getting so many direct hit kills as you are splash damage kills. The challenge is going to start to drag on. You're wondering why you're not making any progress. Secondly, on the health points, you only have 22 in the mode. That means pretty much a bullet from any weapon in the game, whether it's pistols, assault rifles, submachine guns, kills you in one shot. These launchers are heavy, they're slow to aim, they're slow to fire. If you do this in core and you try and peek a corner and someone shoots at you, guess what? They're going to kill you before you can shoot. In core, on the other hand, you've got a couple of seconds where someone may slide around the corner, but if you're already aimed in, or if you start to aim in as they do, you've got a much higher chance of getting that rocket off and still getting your direct impact kill. Whereas in hardcore, you would have been dead already. As well as that, what I found in hardcore is that a lot more people are running flat jacket as opposed to core, which means you're going to get a lot more instances where even if you do strike someone, they might not die. Oh, and I know I said I'd only got 3 things. However, you've also got to consider that in hardcore, you can team kill, which will eventually reflect damage, meaning you die more. And in core, you've got the radar always on, so you can see people on the minimap more often and know where to go to try and find your kills. Yeah, there's so many reasons. Do this in core. Then for your final special camo unlock, you've got to destroy 10 enemy score streaks or vehicles. Now, off the top of my head, there are no drivable vehicles on the map right now or anything, so that's one easy method that you can tick off. Equipment you can find relatively easily by using the engineer perk, and then there are other static streaks such as a SAM turret or a sentry gun that again you can destroy with your rocket launcher without having to worry about locking onto them. But without a doubt, 2 of the most common streaks in the game are the counter UAV and the UAV, and the HE1 locks onto neither of them. So if you want to destroy these and be able to do this challenge as quickly as possible, you need to know how to shoot at them. I've seen a couple of posts on Twitter, a couple of people in other comments already moaning about this challenge with the rocket launcher, saying it's unfair, it's unrealistic. How are you supposed to shoot these things when it doesn't lock onto them? Well, trust me, there is a method to the madness, and it's actually very easy to destroy these streaks. In fact, it's easier to destroy a counter UAV with the HE1 than it is the Sigma because it only takes 1 rocket as opposed to 2. You just have to know where to aim. Now, while the Sigma 2B does lock on, so it's super easy, meaning I'm not going to go into any detail on that, the HE1 is free firing. However, it does have a scope on it as well as the Sigma, which we can really use to our advantage. In order to be able to shoot any UAV, any counter UAV out of the sky, what you want to do is aim in directly on the counter UAV or UAV. Simply swipe your aim in a straight line along the direction that the counter UAV is traveling. As soon as the counter UAV is out of the scope, you can't see it at all, fire. From there, you should be able to sit back and watch as your rocket blows it up in 1. As for a regular UAV, these seem to fly a little bit higher than a counter UAV. They're smaller, maybe even a touch faster too, so they are harder to hit. In order to hit a UAV, you're going to follow the same practice as the Sigma. Aim in on it, put it center of your scope, swipe in the direction that it's traveling until it's out of your scope, but put just a touch more on and aim up just a little bit as well. This is because there is some drop off on the rocket that you shoot, meaning that because it has to travel further, it's going to fall a little bit in the sky. Trajectory is not going to be 100% accurate from where you're firing, and we need to account for that in advance. Now, as for the UAVs, particularly with the HE1, you'll see that as the rocket gets to around the 3/4 mark of the distance where it's going to travel, there is sometimes a spike where it'll just fly off in a random direction. More often than not, this is down just a touch, and that's what we're accounting for when we aim up a little bit when we shoot. However, there are instances where it'll be up, left, right, and the hard work that you've done to aim, it'll just mean nothing because the rocket's going to go off course, right? There's not a great deal you can do about this. Just practice your form, keep shooting the rockets, and very quickly you will get the hang of this because trust me, this is a super easy, super consistent method to be able to shoot down either of those aerial score streaks. Finally, onto the mastery challenges. As you can see, I've already unlocked Diamond on these launchers. I haven't unlocked Diamond everywhere else, so I can't yet go and do Dark Spine, but I know by the time I get to Dark Spine, it's going to be relatively easy for me because I've used all of these tips that I've given you in the video so far. To unlock Gold, you have to get 10 lots of 3 destructions in 1 match. Again, that sounds hard, but so long as you're playing these objective game modes that drag on longer than a normal team deathmatch or longer than a face-off game, which only lasts 3 or 4 minutes, you're generally going to see a good number of streaks going up into the sky that's going to give you the opportunity to complete this challenge. If you join a game and your team's being stomped and the streak's already in the sky, take advantage of it. If your KD takes a little bit of a hit so that you can get these challenges done quicker, trust me, I'm sure you're going to appreciate it in the long run because you're going to be able to put the launches to bed, move on to better weapons, and go back to generally enjoying the game more. As for the Diamond Challenge, this is 10 lots of 3 kills in 1 match. At the time of recording this, which is the 31st of October, just to be completely clear, this challenge is actually bugged, so it's just tracking this as 30 kills in sections of 3. So basically, if I get 3 kills in 1 match, I'm going to get 1 point towards my challenge. If I get 5 kills in 1 match, I'm still going to have 1 point. However, when I go into the next game and get my 6th kill, i.e. my first kill in this new game, that's going to be a second tick towards the challenge. Now, I know this is bugged because this is exactly what happened with my HE1 launcher. I went into my first game, got a bunch of kills with it. I went all the way up to 9 out of 10. Realized, okay, the challenge is stacked. I just need to go and get 3 more kills in my next game. Went into my next game. Very first kill I got with the launcher, I unlocked Diamond, completed the challenge. I'd got 29 kills with my launcher in the previous game. So as I say, challenge bugged right now. Take advantage of it while you can. It does make it easier. I don't think it's a super hard challenge anyway. way. And again, you can do this one in core or in hardcore, whatever your preference is, because this is just kills. This isn't direct hits. Finally, for Dark Spine, which will eventually unlock Dark Matter once you've completed that challenge across 32 other weapons, you've got to get 5 destructions in one match 3 times. Now again, I know this isn't the easiest challenge and it's a little bit dependent on your opposition, you know, how skilled the players are that you're playing, how many streaks they're calling in, what the streaks are. Maybe try and go hard with ARs so that your skill base gets bumped up a little bit and you get put into the harder lobbies with players who are calling in streaks. Play in the objective game modes that last longer than a normal team deathmatch. You're going to be able to breeze through this pretty easily. Finally, I'm just going to show you a couple of the loadouts that I've used to help complete these challenges, as well as one final strategy that you can try. First of all, in terms of streaks, we have the Sigma, and then I'm using the Gung Ho perk, which improves movement speed while you're reloading or using equipment, meaning that if you're using your rocket launcher and somebody starts shooting at you, you get just a little bit of a boost to get away from them if you're close to a corner so that you don't have to worry about dying as much. Then for perk 2, we've got Engineer. This lets you see enemy score streaks and equipment through walls, just helps you isolate where the score streaks are in the sky. And finally, for perk 3, we've got Cold-Blooded. This makes you undetectable by AI targeting systems, meaning that you can go and take on that Watchdog healer without worrying about it shooting at you, to again make this challenge just a little bit less frustrating, particularly with the Sigma. I have been using 3 flashbangs and pretty much just lobbing them in the direction of anybody pushing me if there's a score streak in the sky that I'm trying to clear out and I just need a couple of extra seconds to do so. And finally, I've got the assault pack, so again, if I'm at the back of the map, there's a couple of counter UAVs and a UAV up in the sky, I can grab an extra rocket out of the backpack without having to worry about dying and getting more ammo. Then for my kills class, again, we got the fast primary, I got the HE1 launcher. Here I've been using stims, assault pack again, running flat jacket, fast hands, and cold-blooded. And then I have been running perk greed with Gung Ho initially. However, this seems to have bugged now and it won't let me switch off a dexterity. So potentially one you could swap to tactical expert so that you carry those extra flashbangs. You can take people by surprise when you're pushing up on them with a launcher. The final strategy I have for you involves the face-off game mode and is somewhat limited just to the stakeout map. I've seen a lot of people doing this on Twitter already, and it relates to the recon speciality, which lets you see enemies through walls for a short time after you respawn. Basically, this is just running all these blue perks so that you get this recon speciality, allow you to see through walls. When you're playing stakeout, you can pretty much see where people are grouped up, pop around the corner, fire a rocket instantly. You can see with the footage that I have in the background here, I tried this on hardcore, and I think this is probably a pretty inconsistent strategy. If you just need kills, this is an option. It does tell you where enemies are. You are playing in close quarters, so you can kind of accelerate that process by just diving in and out of corridors, firing a launcher down wherever anyone is, hoping for the best, waiting to die, repeating the process. But you can see again, a lot of people are using flat jacket to limit that explosive damage in these small map playlists. I'm getting an awful lot of deaths, and I'm even getting a lot of team kills, which are causing reflect deaths when I'm shooting launchers in the wrong direction or when my teammates are already fighting someone that I'm shooting at. So if you just need kills, if you prefer to be in the mosh pit modes, this is potentially how you could make the most of that. But personally, for me, I think this is better done in core. That's all the tips I have to help you unlock the multiplayer camos on the launches in Black Ops 6. If there's any that I've forgotten, leave them in the comments down below. And as I said at the top of the video, make sure you subscribe for more Black Ops 6 content. I'll catch you in the next one.